heading into year 3. We have 2 years underneath our belt of the meal prep company. Started really during COVID. Gym shut down. I was thinking outside the box. Went and subleased the local kitchen. I've been training others for about 7 years. Everybody wants you to write a plan, but execution. Sometimes it's hard to, not hard, but going to Kroger's, going to Aldi's, cooking and prepping that, there's room for error. So I always thought, man, if I just prepped it, I could give it to my customers, my clients, my gym members. And
is that really what started with the gym members right there?
Absolutely. So I knew I had 20, 30, 50, I'm gonna say guinea pigs, but people like, hey, if I had this service, would you buy it? They're like, oh, I'm in. Mm-hmm. All right. So during COVID, went knocked on a local Mexican restaurant that was struggling for business. I said, hey, let me sublease your kitchen. They look at me like I'm stupid. And I said, hey, and not only that, I'm gonna buy the food, I'm gonna pay for your employees, and then I also split the profits. Because I understood I didn't have the infrastructure in place. I was trying to prove a concept. So after a couple cups of coffee, dinner, whatever with the guy, he finally said, yeah, sure, let's do it. I mean, it was a quick 7 days, couple cups of coffee. But then I went for it, marketed it within my gym. I had maybe 10, 20 customers. I remember we did about 200 meals week 1, 350 meals week 2, 600 meals week 3, 800 meals week 4. And we found out that about 800 meals per week in that setting, we were capped because we're cooking that food within a 24-hour window.
Yeah.
So that's basically catering, 2, 3, 4 weddings. Got 200 people. 200 people attending a wedding. That's a pretty big catering.
Well, because let me stop you there for a second. It's so good, and the service is so quality that it goes from 0 to 800 meals a week in a period of
4 to 6 weeks. 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah. And at that point, I knew I was onto something.
That's an understatement, I would say.
I am full throttle, addicted to the process, so my mind couldn't shut off. At that point, COVID's kind of slimming down. We started this in November. It's around February. I had to cap it at 800 at that point. And then restaurants started letting customers back in. It started putting more strain on that location. And then that's when I just, for 30 days, looking for real estate and struggled, had some hiccups. Went through architects, building out a place, and they came back with the price was just way too high. And then I don't want to say I had a moment from God or whatnot, but I was like, man, there's this restaurant shop in my hometown that's been vacant for like 2 years, but I didn't like the location. I wanted something on the strip, Walmart, things like that. But then I'm like, wait, I'm an online e-commerce, I'm just going to direct to consumer, which
doesn't really matter where you're at.
A mentor of mine kind of taught me about that direct to consumer model. And it just fell into my lap. Immediately called the owner. Got a meeting that day. I said I want it, and from then
the action made it fall into your lap.
Yeah, for sure. The action, yeah. And then I spent hours and days and weeks researching equipment. I'll never forget my mom. She said, "Hey, I found this grill on Marketplace for like $300."
Yeah.
Nah, Mom. No, I found one for price of a small car.
Yeah.
And she was in tears, crying, like, what are you doing? And like you've talked about, I was like, Mom, you don't see what I see.
Yeah.
Like, that's I'm not real. Half into this. Like, I'm going to serve all of Ohio. I may eventually ship across country. And of course she shed some tears, shook her head. Many people just didn't understand it. You're gonna fail. I mean, there's nobody gonna eat cold food. Well, once again, they didn't see what I saw. Like I knew, like we talked about Rick Rubin, right?
Yep.
When I was listening to that podcast the other day, I built the milk. I didn't build this for the customers. I selfishly built this for me and my wife. I got 2 kids. I got a 10-year-old, a 7-year-old. They're into gymnastics. They're in sports. I want to live a healthy lifestyle. My wife works full time. You think she has time to come home and cook a healthy dinner? Yeah. No, she's doing laundry. She's trying to exercise. Mental health, love that. So that's where this service adds value to your life. You're gaining time. It's reducing your waistline, reducing stress, and
that's the biggest.
And it's really wound into how I've been preaching and been eating and within my lifestyle in our community for so many years. You then captured that and then made it actually taste good with the quality that is necessary to get the results. So it's like, it's this amazing kind of storm of worlds of like you being able to test it there, being a gym owner, living the life, understanding it, having the kids, all the things that you've been seeing in my content forever, but then to be able to wrap it in a reliable service that is very cost effective, which is why when you came to me saying I want to spread it to Columbus, I was like, well, first off, you came in over delivered, you brought a bunch of food, everyone loved it, and then my kids, my wife, everybody that has tasted this food, it really enjoys it. On the way here today, she texted me, is the meal's coming today? Like, the pressure that it takes off the family, all of those things you said, once again, you created it so you would like it, get the results, have the lifestyle, which now has, branched off to all these other people. So it's pretty awesome. It's an inspiring story. And I think this is going to be perfect for the website, actually.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Anything else you want to add to that, Matt?
No, just like I said, built this for my family, the value it's added. And actually, full circle, everything works full circle. So I worked corporate America, working the 46 hours a week, chasing the dollar bill, and then just realized that, hey, God always put this training, weightlifting. I love to do push-ups, lift weights my entire life, but I didn't have the confidence that I could ever make money. And then through some podcasting, some self-development, mindset manual, I was like, man, I didn't even know you, but I read the mindset manual. I'm like, if this dude can wake up at 4 or 5 a.m. and have 3 kids, why can't I? And literally, that was it. It was like, and then where you talked about growing up in a trailer. I grew up in a trailer, grew up in a broken home, but I didn't have that infrastructure. I didn't have that positive support system that says, hey, you can do anything you want to do. I was winning. I was in college for 6 years. Why did I stay in college? Because if I was in college, I wasn't looked at as a loser. Even though I was racking up student debt.
Sure.
Shit's
backwards.
Yeah, so backwards. So just thankful that we got this. Keeney's Kitchen doesn't exist without Dreamboat Fitness, which is my fitness facility. The fitness facility has built confidence in me to now understand the customer and then understand the average American family, because my wife works 40 hours, I work 60 hours, and my kids are involved in sports. So no demographic.
And you probably coach everything too, don't you?
Oh,
yeah, exactly. So that's
high school to Pee Wee, yeah. So
people can identify with that, bro.
But I know my wife has not cooked dinner in about 2.5 to 3 years.